It was a busy day in the NFL. We're going to break it all down, including who was franchise tagged, some wild moves, and so much more. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I will be talking about, well, the crazy day that was the NFL on March 8th, 2022. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast. You can call in, leave me your questions. I'll try to get to them on the show. If you haven't already, maybe check out the Patreon. We're doing a whole bunch of different stuff over there. We had a Patreon exclusive mock drafts. We went through and talked about Ryan Jensen today. You have the Jets player cards. You have player cards on free agents and upcoming guys in the NFL draft. It's a whole lot of fun. Check it out, patreon.com/Matt O'Leary NY. Support and get yourself some extra bonus content. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, this wasn't planned, but it was just crazy to talk about. So at the top, I'll just talk about one, Aaron Rodgers getting a massive deal, $200 million. Now he's saying that he didn't officially sign it yet, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in that same ballpark for what the actual money is going to be. So he's getting a massive deal. He's going to stay in Green Bay, moral of the story. So no, he is not going to be traded, which is going to be a massive storyline. But Russell Wilson did get traded for from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. Drew Lock goes the other direction. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Noah Fant and somebody else was in the deal that I'm going blank on. Doesn't matter. The point is that he is no longer a Seattle Seahawk. Did Joe Douglas start the rebuild process for the Seattle Seahawks? I don't know, but it's hard not to get a little giggle because of how much of a pain in the butt Jamal Adams was on his way out. So wish Russell Wilson the absolute best in Denver. Their odds just absolutely skyrocketed for the Super Bowl. And also like just that AFC West is insane when you think about it. You have Herbert, Carr, Mahomes, and now Russell Wilson. The division's going to be wide open. It's going to be a ton of fun. So I'm looking forward to that in 2022. Now, the point of today's video was to talk about guys who got franchise tagged. Some were today, some were just, over the past year. And who is actually left or who, is going to be hitting free agency. So today we got the unfortunate news that Dalton Schultz did get the franchise tag, which is a bummer because, well, a lot of people thought that maybe he would hit the market. Dallas is going to have some issues with their salary cap. One of the reasons why they have issues is because their running back is making like $18 million a year and they have a better running back who's like a 4th round pick and a lot cheaper of an option. But moral of the story there, Dalton Schultz is going back to the Dallas Cowboys, so he will not be hitting the free agent market, which just stinks because he is exactly what the Jets need. Is a good guy at an intermediate route and over the middle stuff, would really help some of the, crossing patterns and underneath stuff that the Jets are going to be looking to run, but just couldn't because they had 0 tight ends at the position, which is just, a story for another day. But Dalton Schultz is franchise tagged, so he'll stay with the Dallas Cowboys. Jesse Bates is someone that Jet fans were hoping would hit the market at safety. So yeah, that one obviously not great. If he was to become available, his playoff performance I think really helped his stock rise. The Jets do desperately need safety. I would assume that they are still going to be looking in free agency and the NFL draft. The big name one in the draft is Kyle Hamilton. If the Jets take him at 4 or 10, again, I'd be surprised if they did that. And the reason because there's a lot of guys who I think you get at the top of the second round, like Lewis Cine from Georgia, who's had a really good combine, Daxton Hill, Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Petrie. Like there's a lot of talent who's going to be available for you in the second round of this draft. So that's the route that I would want to go, but still more of the story. Jesse Bates is not going to be an option in free agency. We'll talk about potential options. No, we don't have any potential options from today on the later. So we'll talk about it now. As of recording, Marcus Williams is not franchise tagged. I waited as long in the day as I possibly could. So there's a chance he hits the market. I don't imagine that the Seattle Seahawks are going to try to bring Diggs back in their rebuild process. So, there's going to be a few options for the Jets to add a veteran in free agency at the safety position. Someone that they won't be able to add is David Njoku. He got the franchise tag, which is just a little bit bizarre because I feel like his whole stay with the Cleveland Browns has been weird. This is a guy who has a lot of raw talent, but just hasn't been able to put it together, at least consistently. Injury's a little bit of an issue. Blocking's inconsistent. It's gotten better, but just overall, just an inconsistent guy, and he's not even their number one tight end. But they're going to franchise tag him, which the franchise tag for a tight end is about $10 million, or a little over 10 million, I think. So he's going to get paid a lot of money, and he's going to be a weapon for Baker Mayfield, which I guess you want to keep all the weapons you can for Baker. I get that, but still a little surprised that he got the tag. Was not surprised that Mike Gesicki got the tag. I'm glad that he didn't hit the market because I didn't want to have to talk about him potentially being a fit because I don't think he is a fit with the Jets. He's basically a big body slot receiver. He is not an inline tight end, which is what the Jets want. They want someone who's going to be able to line up on the line of scrimmage and block when asked to. And Gesicki can't do that. He very rarely even lines up on the line of scrimmage. He pretty much lines up exclusively in the slot. So I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. And the two other guys that I wanted to talk about, both wide receivers, one a pipe dream and one just, well, the other's kind of a pipe dream too. But Davante Adams is a big time pipe dream. And this is where my biggest take here is that the salary cap is just a myth. Doesn't exist, doesn't matter, because you just allegedly sign someone to a $200 million deal and could still afford to franchise tag Davante Adams, which is just wild. So I guess we'll see what the fallout of that is, but Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers are going back. And Chris Godwin also is getting the franchise tag for the second year in a row. So his price tag is going up. Obviously, he's coming off an injury, so I didn't love that idea on the free agent market, but he would have been potentially one of the higher ceiling guys hitting the free agent market. So let's go through the available guys, talk through it, see if we think the New York Jets are going to attack any of these guys. J.C. Jackson's first on the list. He will not be returning to the New England Patriots. He will not be getting franchise tag. He's hitting the open market. I guess theoretically maybe he could re-sign with the New England Patriots, but I'd be really surprised if that happens. He's probably going to be looking for I'd assume $18 million a year. In that range, he is going to look to get hashtag paid. But he's worth it. He's 26 years old. He intercepts 1 billion passes. I wouldn't bet on this happening for the Jets, but would I be mad if they signed J.C. Jackson? Absolutely not. He's a phenomenal player. And like I said, he's a turnover machine, which is something the Jets rarely do. They don't really have too many guys who can force turnovers. And that's as much as I like Bryce Hall, that's one of his flaws to his games, is his seemingly inability to create those opportunities. So we'll see there, but I think I'd be surprised. Now, Allen Robinson, who we kind of hinted at a little earlier, someone who's hitting the wide receiver market, and the Jets, I feel like have been linked to him forever. The year he's coming off of scares me a little bit because I know that most people are going to say, well, the quarterback situation in Chicago sucked. It did. And it has. He's played with some brutal quarterbacks in Chicago. He played with brutal quarterback play with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But some of the underlying numbers with Allen Robinson just weren't very good. And I'm scared that he is starting to reach the end of the line. Maybe not. Maybe it was just a down year and he bounces back. I just think there's a little bit of risk there. I would prefer to go with more of a sure thing. But if they did sign Allen Robinson, he's usually a proven bona fide number one. This past year did not look like that, but maybe they take a swing. Maybe this is finally the year that Allen Robinson comes in. Now, we have a couple of Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get into here. Ryan Jensen first. So supposedly at the Combine, there were these rumors that the Jets were talking to everybody about the interior on the offensive line, and that there's rumors circulating that the Jets could cut Connor McGovern and sign a guy like Ryan Jensen. Now, with Jensen, I would say he probably is better than Connor McGovern, but it's really not by a whole lot. I think he's a little bit overrated because of the name recognition. That he really struggles in pass protection. He's good against in the run game, but in pass protection, especially this year, he did not play very well. And you could read more about I wrote today about Ryan Jensen on Patreon. So if you want to read more about him and just how poor he was in pass pro, you can on the site. But just I don't think he's as good as what he's going to be, getting paid. I think he's probably going to get $13 million a year on the open market, which That's a pretty high price for someone who's not even guaranteed to be that much of an upgrade. So I would lean towards no, don't sign him. Carlton Davis is another one that's interesting. Again, this is someone who you sign. He's your number one corner. Great. I would say this is one's probably a little bit more likely than JC Jackson. Now, Davis is also probably going to be someone who gets a payday, but it's not going to be as high as what JC Jackson's going to get. I'm intrigued. Is it my favorite option? Probably not at the corner position, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and it could really help out this unit, which it does need an improvement. Again, it's not at the probably tippy top of my list of things that I really want to improve on this team, but they do need improvement, and he would be an upgrade. And the last guy that I wanted to talk about today was Harold Landry. Will not be getting franchise tagged by the Tennessee Titans. He is young. He gets after the passer. He plays every single week. He's not injury prone, which is a major upgrade for the New York Jets. The one thing where it's like, okay, maybe you shy away from signing him is he's been more of an outside linebacker edge rusher than like a hand in the dirt 4-3 edge rusher. So if the fear is that he would not be able to convert and play in this system, then you obviously shy away. I think he's athletic enough to do it. Again, that is kind of up to the coaches. So if they do decide that they think he could be just fine in their system, great, go for it. If that's something where it's like, I don't think he's a scheme fit, then okay. I see that. There are other options, but he is absolutely a name due to his productivity, and two, his age. He's still extremely young that I think you at least have to have that conversation about. So let me know in the comments. Did I miss anybody? Let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new. I'll talk to you next time.